Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream, Togainu no Chi Lost Blood. You?
Sorry, I just checking if you forgot to open your mic on Simona.
No, I didn't.
Hello, Amir.
Hi Wendy Nikes, hi Manali, welcome to today's stream.
Hello, Wendy.
We're pretty good, right?
Yeah, we're pretty good.
Hi Polka
Hey,
King,
Polka,
welcome!
hi.
It's been a long time, welcome to today's stream! I'm glad you
Hello.
stopped by. Yeah, and you said once, right? That like it's our that we already did with 2 models from my side, right?
Huh?
You said
Oh, yeah.
really? I'm not sure anymore.
I think
Well,
no,
for me,
I'm not sure. I don't remember it. It's fine.
well, it's first time that it's from my side that 2 models will be active with moving. I hope my PC will be okay, but I think it's really fine. And yeah, about the game, the title, I wanted some BL. Voice.
Oh my god, the name of the game is so long though.
Togainu no Chi, Lost Blood. I want some BL now.
Jeez.
Yeah, I feel super refreshed.
If anyone asking, it was Honey's idea on this PL game, not my idea.
My idea. I mean, I'm
Probably on him,
I'm
so
100% a fan of BL games.
I know that.
And I just wanted to have something like to play this time.
I got rest, don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I should forget to do something, wait. Okay, but I will do it in like 30 minutes, it's fine.
Yeah. The music a bit louder because yeah, it's a bit quiet.
It should be fine though.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want the music to overlapping your voice.
And everybody, just to let you know, I didn't play the game already. It's my first time, and yeah, everything is set to play it immediately. So I don't know what content there is.
Wait, give me a second. I laughing at.
Yeah. Twitch stream I'm actually doing tomorrow because there was on Phasmophobia will be
The thing
nice
is,
update.
I need to fix the problem with the sound load first. I couldn't fix that one yet. Yeah.
You mean with Twitch?
When it's streamed on Twitch, it will say like, "Hey, you didn't collect solid, but I got a collect solid on my Steam lab."
That's weird.
What the heck? But anyway.
Yes. Don't worry, we will handle it, okay?
Yeah, I know it.
Okay, shall we go to the game then?
Yeah.
Okay, let me change the music then. Okay. Okay.
But for context, I know nothing about this game at all.
Me neither. First time playing. Okay, here's the game, and like now we doing it. Okay. It should be working, right? Yeah. And
It's working.
Yuu model is here. Okay, the game itself. Shall I start then, Yuu? Is the sound working actually on the stream? I'm not sure.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Wait, let me see my mic too. Give me a second. It's working.
Okay, shall I start then, Yuu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, how do I sound by the way?
Really clear.
Okay, got it.
Is the focal point of collective identity. As long as they are safe within the symbolic placenta, the people have no need to doubt. Behold the wages of Habris.
This is gonna be interesting.
The third division. Mankind Third World War. Oh! Third World War, you.
Why do I think this is not gonna be only big?
20 XX. Tommy.
Okay, you know I might underestimate this kind of game. I don't think it's only visual novel game. It's maybe something like action visual novel.
Damn. 2022,
Yeah,
you. As
I
it
don't know.
rode the wave of economic expansion that accompanied its shifting national zeitgeist, German word. The small island nation of Japan started polarization.
Why you have to call it out? But okay.
It's actually interesting somehow.
Okay.
A totalitarian national ideology. Control over the that began in the womb. Education geared.
Got into the game like not even a second, and he already interesting in the game.
I mean, you're also interested, right? Given how how it's written there.
It's not my type of game, but I
look,
could go along.
Control over the citizenry. The citizens getting controlled. Optimized for war, although the people believed.
I see.
Shall I do a bit more louder the music, you?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Drastic measure of splitting Japan in two. Wow. East and West Japan, you.
I thought Japan were already separate from each other. Wait. Oh, they were in the same country. Oh, I thought they were not separated. Oh, okay then.
It got separated now.
I'm don't worry. I'm looking at a comment for you too.
Okay, thank you.
I only have one screen anyway.
Wait. Okay. You, this is Japan.
I'm not surprising actually. It's beautiful.
Damn!
That's what I hope to see. What happened to Arasaka actually?
Former
Wait.
capital has transformed the old land. Still divided into east and west. That's interesting.
No, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. Japan is good.
Yeah.
My friend, I remember one of my person I know into Japan one. Let's not talk about that. Don't forget to read it, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, with the dialogue.
Wait, I need to read?
Yeah, you need to.
Oh, additionally, each side held a different vision of how the nation should be reborn. Reunification talks fell apart again and again, and so the future hung on the brink. The brief glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel had begun to recede into darkness.
Oh, wait, they have been... Wait, this copyrighted?
Not sure.
Pep, customer says I think it's copyrighted.
Really? It's copyrighted? One moment.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, can I check?
Yeah. He's copywriting music, but yeah.
You know what? I will remove them in the future
Okay.
anyway, so it's not fine.
Should I just play it now?
Yeah, just play it, fine.
Okay.
I will remove them after the stream if it's copyrighted.
Yeah. Daddy type you.
It's gonna be interesting.
The game? I know.
Maybe. I said maybe though. But if there any that screen that I should be aware of, so prepare to close them, okay?
Huh?
You know, any screen that
Yeah, then I need to fast react. What about this? That was okay, right?
that was
What the
okay.
hell? Of course there needs to be a woman in the game, or it's not a real game. See?
Even somebody have a girl, it's normal.
But she's hot. You saw her, right?
Yeah, I know.
Successful
She's-
wife. Death.
Oh,
Thought it beautiful. He remembered body bags, human shapes swathed like babies in their gentle embrace. Babies, okay. He remembered lowering their zippers to reveal the unmoving objects within. That was how the soldiers had always looked when they returned to the shelter. He thought them
that
beautiful. To him, they seemed to be asleep. What was death, anyway? The cessation of function. The heart stops, the lungs stop, the brain stops. The body falls into an endless sleep. Was that not what it meant to die? But was that all? Was there nothing more? He himself was in no hurry to die. But nor did he have any particular attachment to life.
that
Even if he abruptly died in his sleep, that would be just fine. He tried to imagine himself fighting, desperate to survive. What would be the purpose of that? What could he hope to accomplish by staying alive? What was the difference between life and death, aside from the cessation of one's bodily functions? He pondered these things constantly, even while watching his fist tear through flesh to shatter the hard bone beneath.
oh that
That was a hit.
damn,
Critical hit.
that opening skin is something.
A pleasant numbness spread from Akira's knuckles to his brain, like bubbles in a carbonated drink. You! That example!
Yeah.
The man's knees buckled, and he sank slowly to the ground. The unnatural silence, like a silent movie playing in slow motion, broke the instant he collapsed. All at once, there rose a storm of noise. Noise, and more noise. Ruth voices clashed in disharmony, stinging Akira's ears.
Damn.
The man
Koichi is so
had been huge,
immersed into
both
this.
taller and heavier than Akira. He had looked down on Akira with eyes that pitied the ant he was about to crush beneath his heel. But that hadn't lasted for long.
Let me off first.
The match had...
I love how they use the word heal, by the way.
But that hadn't lasted for long. The match had ended almost as soon as it began. Now, the bitter howls of those who'd lost their bets mixed with the cries of those thrilled by the victory. Some approached with repellent smiles, asking for comments like television reporters. Countless fists smacked him on the shoulder, as if to laud the return of an old war buddy. Naked light bulbs swayed in the dimness, conspiring with the shadows to make the spectators stand out oddly. The crowd was gathered in one corner of a filthy backlot. All were young, though they ran the gamut from those who had never seen blood before to those who had seen too much. They were all here for one reason, to witness a competition of strength. Shaking the blood from his fist.
Wait.
Yes?
Is this really a BL game? No,
Yeah.
now I'm thinking about wait, this is a BL game, right? Why am I listening to some fighting and
It's a good start, actually. Shaking the blood from his fists, Akira pushed his way through the onlookers and headed for the cool depths of the alley. I'm not sure. As if to flee their clinging eyes. Okay, yes, you? BL game. It's a BL game. He did not even spare a glance for the man he had just defeated. Ooh, not even glance. The air he inhaled was chilly. He pulled his jacket a little tighter around his neck. As the noise of the crowd receded, Akira felt like he was stepping into a different world. About 3 blocks away was the spot where Blaster participants gathered to rest from the fighting. Someone had scrawled restroom in red marker on the wall. Several youths were already here, smoking or drinking cheap booze as they chatted amongst themselves. Most were participants in tonight's contest, but there were also among them retired fighters who had come to boast about past glory. To an outsider, they would look like a gang of delinquents, which was,
Wow.
more or less, precisely what they were.
But how is everyone doing today on
Yeah.
the chat?
I hope everyone is okay. Akira walked past the others, lounging on the roadside, then sat down in his usual spot by the back wall. Usual spot, you. Nice. As he enjoyed the feeling of the cool asphalt through his jeans, he felt a sigh escape his lips. That last opponent, he was nothing. Akira hadn't even broken a sweat. This is how it had been for a while now. No one had been able to so much as bloody his lips. Which was why the more fired up his audience got, the more empty
You know what? The
Yeah.
way that you sing the word is so make me want to say, "Hey yo."
Hey yo. Which was why the more fired up his audience got, the more empty he felt inside. He was there for the prize money,
The
nothing
way
more.
the
Yes?
way they saying it is so like seductive, and the way they sing for his character.
Damn!
No, I'm saying straight, like bought me on his lip. Come
Aw.
on.
Letting out another sigh, Akira leaned his head against the wall and cast his eyes up at the sky. Tonight, there was a lovely full moon. Showing the moon, of course, I knew it. You,
Again and again.
the world was restarted. It had been years before people could look at the sky. During the war and in the immediate aftermath, most of the population had lived in colossal underground shelters. Oh, you! This is
You
so.
don't happen. I later happen nuclear wall. Oh, it was a nuclear wall.
There
You say?
was. In
Oh, okay.
underground shelter, they were.
Makes sense. Wait,
Damn.
so why? Okay, so why they're staying on top with a gas mat then?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. It wasn't nuclear bombs. Maybe it was just rockets. There,
That's fair. Okay, let's
children were
continue.
separated from their parents and raised to be perfect soldiers. They were taught to kill, to die. Glory
Oh.
to those who slay our enemies.
Where you
Your
say to
life
die?
belongs
Wait.
to God.
Don't say it too emotional. Say it normally.
Okay,
Oh my god, that made me. Oh my god, that scared me a moment.
sorry. But the music is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Glory
Oh, the
to
music
those
is
who
good.
slay our enemy. Your life belongs to your country. Never! Yet the war ended before these children ever saw battle. And the next thing they knew, the rarest nation
Good thing that we look at the review first on the
Yeah.
game.
that had called on them to kill and die was asking them to forge a bright, loving future. Damn! The reversal was all too reckless, all too sudden. It began with the
The
force.
way that they using their word is something.
Huh? Using the words?
Yeah, on the it telling the story is something. Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, I hope it's actually good. I'm not sure. Sorry!
Okay. I'm not a visual novel guy, so I don't really know how visual novel was supposed to be, but this okay in my eye.
Okay. It began with the forced establishment of new family units. Normally, one might think that the children would have been returned to the parents from whom they'd been taken. But this was not the case. Parents and children who had never met were assigned to one another at random and forced to live beneath one roof as a family. Because there was no way that these families could function. Abuse, neglect, and violence ran rampant. The children had been taught nothing except how to fight. How were they
Oh,
supposed to feel?
wait, I just know something.
Yeah?
So I did a bit of research on this game. This game was an anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this game was an anime actually. It's an anime.
Oh, cool.
I just know that now. Wow,
Anime.
interesting.
What was love Anyway, they had no one to teach them the answer. Their parents were hardly up to the task. In their confusion, the children turned to battle. They had been taught that defeating one's enemy was the greatest possible glory, but the war had ended before any of them could put their training to use. These children needed a place to test their strength. How did it feel to fight for one's life? What could you see at the edge of death? As if pursuing the answers to those questions, the lost children clashed with one another on the street. Soon, these became known as blaster fights. The governments of Japan deliberately turned a blind eye, although they passed new laws to make it plain that death would not be tolerated. New laws! The government laws! And so, blaster thrived. It began on the CFC side and quickly spread to Nikoran as well, or Nikouran, I'm not sure. Rules took shape, and soon both group and individual fights were being held. Japan's youth were starved for battle, and Akira was one of them. With the sound of approaching footsteps, Akira lowered his gaze from the moon. It's awful, I don't know the surname of Akira, only the first name. Two lanky silhouettes stopped in front of him.
Did I use the tag wrong on the Twitter? I'll fix them in the next stream. Oh.
The man with the yellow mohawk, which Akira thought made him look like a rooster, grinned and raised his hand.
Yeah.
The other one, a sickly-looking guy with long black hair, peered down at Akira with a smirk. Each of them was holding a bottle of booze. You alcohol time.
I'm sorry, the right guy faces remind me of the Joker in the Ryerson movie.
Sickly-looking you. Akira had few acquaintances, but these were two of them. They'd been hanging around him ever since he started coming here. He'd ignored them at first, but they kept coming, and before he knew it, talking to them had become a regular thing.
Yo, Akira, また買っちゃったんだって。しかも一発系よ。あんたほんと強えよな、まったく。
That voice, you. Actually, your Japanese voice, I think, are even better than the English translate. I mean, English spoken, right?
I'm feeling English spoken, so I didn't mind that.
There's
at
no
all.
English voice for it. Ace, the one with the mohawk, approached with his distinctive one-leg dragging gait, then plopped down beside Akira.
見たかったね。エースのせいで間に合わなかったけどよ。
His name is D.
D. Not V.
D.
D.
Is not.
These nuts.
Sorry, I'm sorry, that was bad. I just see the opportunity. Let's continue.
D, the long-haired one, stood in front of them with a wide grin on his face. After giving D the finger, Ace triumphantly thrust his bottle at Akira. Looked like beer with a red label.
なんだと思う
Akira had no interest in booze. He shook his head brusquely. I didn't know that word actually exists, you. And I don't know what the meaning is.
I don't know what it means too, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
もう祝いがいねえな
You know,
こいつは
That's my kind of guy. They don't drink beer.
手に入ら
Good.
ねえレアモンのビールちゃんようん高いんだぜ
So this guy gonna get kicked.
アキラが勝ったっつうから行きつけんとこ頼み込んで出してもらったわけよだってアキラ飲まねえんじゃなかったっけか
Of course I'm not drinking. I wish.
No, you're doing beer, but I don't. You're
Ru-
doing a lot.
Rocking back to look up, Ace waved his hand dismissively.
ええな今こういうの気持ちが肝心だっつうだろ
Right, you? It's the thought that
アキラが勝利の
counts.
ために奮発したっつう俺様の友達思いの心だな
When do I hear Akira's voice?
Yeah, when I hear his voice, he have been quiet on his
Ignoring Ace, D raises his bottle high.
あてめ
Oh
人の
no.
話聞けよ話し終わってからやれってんだよバカ何勝手に乾杯してんだよ
Drunkard.
Ace leaned forward, eyes bulging, as he lashed out at D.
なげんだもん飽きたほら早く乾杯しろよ
Ace shot a glare at the smirking D, then cleared his throat a bit.
じゃあまあ気を取り直してロストの勝利に乾杯
Kanpai! Ace hoisted his bottle overhead, clinked it against D's, and downed the beer in one gulp. Lost was Akira's alias in Blaster. No one remembered who'd come up with the name. Somewhere along the way, it had simply become the norm. Akira didn't mind. Names meant little to him.
うまいなやっぱ
He shrugged his shoulders and took tiny sips as Ace laughed heartily, breath reeking of alcohol.
今回のは見れなかったけど相手って結構な肉だるまだったんだろ
Did he
どう
buff
せ
you?
また顔色の一つも変えずサクッと
Yeah, I forgot to
倒
ask.
した
How
んだ
long you
ろう
gonna
ね
stream this game, by the way?
Not sure.
Ah, okay.
In the sector, Area Ray, Akira, lost, was known to all as the undefeated champion of the individual bouts. Once upon a time, he had looked forward to these fights, but the enthusiasm of those early battles had vanished long ago. Now, not even embers remained. These days, he approached every fight with the same sense of a foregone conclusion. He was there to earn a living, that's all, and because there was nothing else he wanted to do, he wasn't even all that interested in prize money as long as he had enough to meet his meager expenses. Akira had no dreams, no goals. He stayed alive only because he felt neither the need nor the inclination to die.
しかもよまた蹴ったんだって今度はなんだっけかなほらなんか結構有名なでっかいとこ
本堂グループ
そうそうそれそれせっかくのお誘いをよ
Swear their voice so familiar. So I heard them before.
The Japanese people,
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually like, yeah, Tugs, I mean the normal voice for these Tugs, is it names, right?
See. Yeah.
He smacked the palm of his hand with his fist and jabbed an index finger at the index finger, you.
Mhm.
From
Okay.
time to time, corporations scouted blaster fighters who had earned recognition on the circuit. By and large, they were connected to the underworld, Yakuza or private security, but in this day and age, having someone to pay your way was worth a lot. Most fighters jump at the chance. If you were good enough, you might even get an offer from the world of pro
I don't
sports.
hear particular voice at all.
Huh?
I wanna hear his voice.
Akira? Yes,
Like-
me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, Akira had no interest in any of this. He'd need more than one hand's worth of fingers to count the invitations he'd refused up until now. The Honda Group recruiter had looked as if he'd been trying to advertise his Yakuza ties. Akira recalled his gaudy, nouveau riche dress, but not his face or what he'd said. Akira was only here because he didn't mind fighting. He'd never given any thought to his future. If he ever ran out of prize money, he supposed that he could always find work as a day laborer or laborer. He saw no need to think any farther ahead. Ace and D, who would automatically keep the conversation going whether or not Akira had anything to say, were actually rather well built by their gangly looks. Their nails were black with dirt and grime, and their knuckles bore the telltale scars of a street fighter. Was the money really worth the sweat and blood they'd shed? Either way, there was no shortage of blaster participants looking to get rich, or just let off some steam.
俺たちで組んで優勝狙っちゃおっか最強サンバカギ兄弟とかってチーム名にしてさ
ネタチームかよ
The fuck? His bottle was almost empty, even though he'd been taking little sips, and he waved it as he joked around. Ace laughed brusquely. They were nearing full-on drunkenness.
最強っつえばさ、ペスカコシカみてえになってみてえよな、いっぺん。
Ace wiped tears of laughter from the corners of his eye as he murmured dreamily. Passy? Akira wasn't familiar with the name. It must have shown on his face.
え、嘘。
As soon as they noticed Akira's confusion, the two friends' eyes went wide.
アキラまさかペスカコしか知らねえの？
Peskoshkayu.
ガキでも知ってるぜ。
あ
多分。
Maybe.
超ありえねえ、ブラスターのチャンピオンか。さすがだぜ、仙人みて。
Akira scowled, feeling like an idiot. Even he knew when he was being made fun of. As if it pleased him to have one up on the champion. Ace put on a gleeful smirk and wagged his index finger from side to side.
親切な
Nice.
俺様がボスに説明してやるや。ペスカコシカってのはな、通称コート率いるちょっと前に一世を風靡したエリアゴースト出身のチームや。そらもう今のアキラみたく連戦連勝負け知らずでさ、向かうところ敵なし。
You,
そう最強チーム。
Yes.
when do we hear Akira's voice?
It does. I was about to answer, but I said
Ace
like,
balled his hands
you know,
into trembling.
you know
Oh,
what? I'm
oh.
awake. Maybe it was surprising us. That's why.
It felt
On this note in a game, I'm gonna wake.
Come to think of it, Akira had a feeling he'd heard the name before, but he couldn't recall where.
まあ、凶悪の凶を取って最強とも呼ばれてたけどな。
I want to hear his voice to know if he's hot or not. His interjection wiped the grin of Ace's face.
悪名高いことでも有名だったからな。めちゃくちゃひでえこととか平気でやってたもんな。
ね、そういう凶悪なことをいっぺんやってみたいと。は？
He grinned maliciously, crossing his arms.
誰もんなこと言ってねえだろ。そんぐらい強くなってみてっつってんだよ、このタコ。
Ace slammed his fist down against the top of D's head.
警察と勇敢に戦った俺の武勇伝を聞かなかったのか、お前は。お前こそな、その薄気味悪いロン毛とっとと切りやがれってんだ。
Creepy long hair, you. Patting his injured right knee, which he claimed often had been wounded in righteous battle against the forces of tyranny, Ace reached out and seized hold of D's hair.
あったってバイクでひったくりやったとこ見つかって追っかけられて事故っただけじゃねえかよ。どこら辺をどうすれば
Oh, I'll
無
be
事
right back.
にな
I'll
る
be
ん
right back.
だよ。
Okay.
Yeah, you can continue. Baby.
D well, pulled forward by his hair. Leaning against the wall, Akira watched their antics with a detached eye. He didn't mind being around these guys. They did whatever they wanted, regardless of how he responded. It was much more relaxing than being with people who were always gauging his reaction. He didn't care to have others tell him where he belonged. If they thought he was going to play their game of superficial friendship, then they were doomed to be disappointed.
Back.
Welcome back. He'd never said so out loud, but apparently it showed in his demeanor. People picking basalt fight with him had become just another part of his day-to-day life.
おいアキラ、なんとか言ってやれよこいつにさ。一番バカなのはエースだよな。
With his parted hair captured on both sides, D shot Akira a desperate look. Akira didn't mind hanging out with these guys, but of course, everything had its limits. Sighing, Akira reluctantly opened his mouth. Oh, he's speaking!
It's speaking now? Okay.
安心し
Oh, wait, what?
似た者同士だから。
So hot! He can man voice.
He's simping now.
It's actually the playable character. I have this voice, then you. That was probably the first
I
thing
was a-
Akira had
I
said.
was a bit scared because I didn't hear the voice first, but then he said it. Okay. Oh my god, that's
That was
made it
actually
easy.
the first time he spoke, you.
Yeah.
Look at Akira at the same time with the same expression. They even mirrored each other in how their shoulders slumped, crestfallen. This drew laughter from the scattered onlookers who'd wandered in during the show. Looking up at the sky,
Someone,
Akira returned.
someone were looking at them.
Yeah, the onlookers. Even if the moon vanished one day, things would be just fine. Even without its light to guide them, those who crawled the earth would find some way to get by. In this place, there was rest from the strain of living. That was why Akira kept finding himself here. Soon, S&D recovered, and the sounds of their banter once again filled the comforting darkness. Only one sentence for the full, whatever that is, chapter. Only an hour or two
Yeah.
after falling asleep, the thunderous bang of the door crashing and tore him from his precious rest. Akira, please tell more. Say more. Footsteps pound hard enough to make the bed springs creak, dragging Akira up out of slumber. Yes, you heard it.
Yeah.
Oh. In his half-asleep state, he couldn't process what was happening. This
The
was
music,
Akira's
though.
apartment. Tiny, yeah, it's really actually good. Cyberpunk, like, right?
Nah, that's normal.
Ah, okay. Empty but for a bed. A tiny room in a rundown building. Empty but for a bed, a refrigerator, and a small lamp. The floor and walls were bleak concrete. To Akira, who needed a little more than a place to eat, sleep, and shelter from the rain, it was the perfect room. Comfortable and empty of meaning. Who had shattered his peace and quiet? Probably someone he'd beaten, looking for revenge. It wouldn't be the first time. Too lethargic to rise, he remained sprawled in bed even as he sensed them coming up beside him.
Oi, Akira!
A split second later, someone seized the front of his hair and yanked his head off the pillow. Two men in black uniforms, they weren't from Blaster. The one gripping Akira by the hair looked high-strung, with slick black hair and a thin face. The one standing behind him was well-built. Both were wearing white clothes and had clubs strapped to their waists. Cops. These are
Oh, that's a
cops!
cop. That's a cop.
Yeah, these are cops. Seeing Akira
Damn.
with glasses. The thin-faced
These are
officer let out a snort of laughter.
生意気な目だな。
Police A.
なんか文句でもあんのか。
Without letting go of Akira's hair, the man punched him hard in the face.
一緒に来てもらうぞ。
なんでだよ。
He had no idea.
お前に殺人の容疑がかかってる。
Wanted for murder, you. I killed someone, it seems.
You arrest someone for murder in this time of war? Come on.
Wait, you. Now I'm saying it with my best voice here. Murder? He looked at the well-built officer.
他の誰かと間違えてるんじゃないのか。
Well, Bill, I disagree.
Though the
That's
post-war chaos had last begun to calm down, the system was still full of holes. False arrests were hardly unusual.
なんだと
The thin-faced officer's temple twitched. I think he's smashing again.
話せよ。
Or not? He tried to shake free, but the man only gripped tighter.
まったく。最近の若い連中は礼儀の一つもなってなくて困るよ。本当にバカばっかりだ。
That guy is
そ
corrupt,
の
right?
口を一般人が
Yeah,
警
most
察に
likely.
聞いていいと思ってんのか。
Narrow eyebrows rising. The thin-faced policeman contorted his lips in a sneer.
白を切っても無駄だぞ。
Oh my
抵
god,
抗
I
し
can
て
see
も
that.
罪がかさむだけだ。ロストってお前のことだろ。ガキの喧嘩じゃ飽き足らず、とうとう殺しまでやっちまったが。
I'm pretty sure that I could kill them
You
in a matter
couldn't.
of a second.
I mean, even Akira's stronger than the policeman, to be honest. He
Yeah,
is lost. If they knew his alias, it meant they also knew his reputation on the streets. He'd doubt that they had a positive image of Blaster. Knowing he was the champion, they probably thought he was some kind of psycho. Wow.
ガキが
Wow.
たかだかストリートファイトが有名になったぐらいでいい気になるなよ。
Do they have pistols actually?
俺じゃない。
Can't, I think. Not sure if
I,
it's
they might have it. I mean, every policeman have their weapon to protect themselves.
only, yeah, you see what he has there.
Baton? Yeah, I know that.
Akira snapped his voice low. The thin-faced officer grabbed him hard by the jaw and jerked their faces together. His eyes were full of contempt.
言い訳ならいくらでも気が済むまで書で聞いてやるからな。
Huh, this is really kinda interesting, actually.
With that, he released Akira's hair and stepped away. Immediately, the well-built police officer seized both of Akira's arms, then dragged him out of bed and pinned his hands behind him. That's so...
話せよ。
That's so...
Okay, that is Akira attempted to check
Don't think too much. That policeman arresting.
Yeah.
That's all.
thin-faced officer
Yeah,
clubbed
don't
him
think
in
too
the back.
much.
Yeah. It was a merciless blow, knocking the breath from his lungs.
ほら、キリキリ歩けよ。
Grinning, the thin-faced officer leaned forward and tapped Akira on the side of the face with the end of his club. The officer behind him
Oh,
hauled
okay,
him,
now that's starting to get fast the way you're saying that, but no. Yeah.
then marched him
Jump.
through the front door. Even more than the false accusation, it was their attitude that infuriated him. They probably hadn't performed a real investigation. He didn't normally give a damn how this country was run, but that didn't mean he was about to let these cops walk all over him.
ちょっと。
As soon as
I know what
Akira
happened.
was through the door, he heard a familiar voice. Turning, he saw a friendly face, eyes and mouth agape. It was Keisuke, frozen in place with his hands stretched towards the doorknob. His
Wait,
coveralls, Yes?
Let me do a research actually.
his coveralls were so
Uh-huh,
stained
okay.
with black that it was hard to make out the original color.
どけ、邪魔だ。
The thin-faced policeman shoved him aside with his club. Wait, what?
おい、ちょっと待てよ。
It's a baton actually. So don't say what. It's just normal.
Yeah, but like slammed against an onlocker in this moment.
Yeah.
Coming back to him as he staggered, Keisuke laid a frantic hand on the shoulder of the officer restraining Akira. The officer flung him back with so much force, Keisuke staggered again. For a second, he looked shocked, but then his anger flared.
待てって言ってんだろ。アキラが何したんだよ。
うるさい。お前も公務執行妨害で逮捕するぞ。
Say that! Oh my god! The way nine voices! I'm sorry! It's just too good!
Keisuke
I
dove,
love that! It's too good!
but the well-built
I love-
officer shouldered him away. Yes?
I love the high voice from the police. It's like, yeah, that clarified voice from the bad guy, and I love that.
These
It's
policemen
good,
are
it's good,
bad guys.
アキラ。
Yeah, I love that.
The power of the blow was too much. Keisuke collapsed with a groan.
ほら、歩け。
So corrupt. Akira looked over his shoulder as they dragged him along. Keisuke was watching him, face screwed up in pain. Even after the officers forced him to face forward again, Akira could sense Keisuke's eyes staring helplessly at his back. What the corruption in this country.
My grandma is screaming. What the heck?
She brushed the steel desk rattled beneath the detective's hand.
Oh no.
In the light of the desk lamp, his face looked like a well-carved totem pole. His skull was so fierce that his eyes seemed about to pop out of their sockets.
いい加減白状したらどうなんだ。
Yanimata. He had been repeating the same phrases in his aging bellow for quite some time now. Akira leaned back in his chair and looked at the ceiling. He wondered if the man would ever get bored.
That's the thing. How you gonna confess someone that's not even doing a thing?
Yeah, they're just like forcing the same thing, and like, yeah, either you say or yeah.
Here's the thing: if you're gonna arrest someone to confess, you must have some evidence on him then before arresting him. That's why you can make him to talk. But the way they just doing it is like, yeah, how he's gonna talk because
Yeah.
you have no evidence to back it up.
They have half-baked evidence, not clear ones.
Yeah, right.
That's actually, yeah, you need 100% clear evidence.
So in contact that I don't have to say anything actually because they want no evidence at all.
I wouldn't say two. Just like give me my lawyer, that's all.
Yeah, I would say that. Give me my lawyer. Call me Better Call Saul.
聞いてんのかこのコンコンチキが
And even this, look the detective saying you little.
Yeah,
警部血圧上がりますから落ち着いて
do it more. Yeah.
The timid-looking
Do it
detective
more.
taking notes nearby made a tentative effort to calm the older man down. His gaunt features and pale complexion made him look like a walking corpse.
そうだな少し落ち着こう君カツ丼でも食うか
Now giving food? Really? The
No,
detective
probably
asked
giving them
Akira
food
in a
themselves.
somewhat more restrained tone of voice, wiping the sweat from his forehead with a wrinkled handkerchief. Yeah, food! Akira didn't reply, of course. From the beginning, he hadn't responded to any of their questions. Ultimately,
That what I do too because why should I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
me too. Ultimately, he was here as a material witness, since they hadn't pinned him down definitely as the perpetrator, but that didn't change the fact that this interview was meant to extract a confession, and there was no way he was going to confess to something he hadn't done.
Okay, yeah, right. Exactly what that said. How you gonna confess something that they don't even have done? How you gonna confessing that?
The best part I find actually with the detective asking Akira, do you want to have a bowl too or something? The inspector's face flushed red.
I think he was talking to his partner.
No, he was to Akira.
Wait,
It was
I
stated
don't know.
before he was talking to Akira if Akira wants something to eat, and Akira
No,
didn't
it was
respond.
but it was to his partner.
No,
I
it
think.
really was there.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was
I
like,
missed-
hey, you want to have a bowl of, I don't know, meat or something, what it was, and then like there he looked at Akira or something like this.
No. I think he was talking to his partner and looked at Akira back. That's all.
Ah,
Babe, come
okay.
on. You know what kind of this police is. Do you think they're gonna give Akira the food? The guy that they got arrested? Come
Ye-
on.
Yeah, they would, because of changing the ways to get a confession.
Maybe. Let's continue. Let's see how this goes.
The inspector's face flushed red, contorting more and more as the silence continued. Eventually, he began shivering, all but letting out a snarl before losing his patience for the umpteenth time.
カツ丼どころじゃないわ
Die.
からハグじゃしろしろ
Just confess, David, confess!
警部
それをよこせ
The inspector snatched the documents from the timid detective and licked his fingers, then flipped through the pages. He raised his eyebrows.
国民番号 11298TM3099 無職家族構成は父母のみ3年同居の後に別居ブラスター個人戦優勝経験あり
That is actually Akira's citizen's number, you.
I see.
TM.
別居ね
Left home, huh?
鬼ババだったとかならともかく優しくていいご夫婦だったそうじゃないか
Let me doing a bit. he doesn't answer. Yeah. Why do he have to answer though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Call him all day one. He not gonna answer you, man.
Hmm.
That you know.
Ignoring
unless
us
you have-
always.
Unless you have evidence on the desk.
They
which
don't.
I don't see any right now. So
I
yeah.
only see an empty desk.
Hmm?
The distant memory of his foster parents surfaced in the back of his mind. They had indeed been kind. He considered himself lucky. But in the end, they were just strangers. They shed no trace of blood.
Oh.
The detective leaned forward, nose almost touching the papers, and glared up at Akira.
犯行推定時刻は午前3時頃。外車の死因は全身打撲による外傷性ショック死。アリバイなし。現場から半径200メートル以内にいた。しかもブラスターの常連ときたら。
You assuming because he was there? Okay, just because he was there, he doing it? Oh, that's
Assuming.
kinda assuming assumption. Not gonna lie.
I mean, there were a lot of people. Why him?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know. Look, the victim died of shock cause of external trauma. We don't know if like the one from the battle or who else. The inspector slammed the papers down on the desk.
お前らに考えられたろうが。
This is so one-sided.
They're so one-sided. It's so one-sided.
How did being a blaster fighter automatically make him the culprit?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, just because he was there, they think that he do it. Oh my god, this is why I need a lawyer. Just call a lawyer.
They are for nuts.
Yeah.
He could understand them having a bad impression of him, but that didn't give him the right to label him as a criminal.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
嘘つけ。お前がやった。そうだな。
This is one-sided. I want to go home or my lawyer. When Akira stared back silently, the detective sucked in a sharp breath and pointed at him.
瞬きをした。今お前
You
は
look-
瞬きをしたな。
But the normal human fucking brain! What do you mean? Everybody's blinking!
You just blinked, didn't you?
黙っていても目は口ほどに物を言う。
You can keep saying all you'd like, but your eye's talking.
はい。
Oh
私
my
がやりま
god!
した。
Look.
と。
From the
Oh
eyes
my
he wants to read
God.
this.
Oh my god.
Akira's beginning to collapse.
That is so fucking shit! Shit at the assumption just because from the blinking. Okay. It would be more believable if he said like, yeah, you didn't look at me. That means you're lying. Yeah, that would be more understandable. But like, the assumption because he was just normally blink.
I would never pay that detective.
Oh my god, this guy is a fucking bad at his job. No wonder he's so such a fucking dick.
Become a caretaker.
Oh my
No,
god.
a children caretaker. Akira was beginning to care less and less about where this was headed. The state was determined to pin the crime on him. There wasn't much he could do. Wow, the state is actually...
I agree. I wouldn't care about it. Yeah, I agree too.
とに
Yeah,
か
my
く
man.
返すわけにはいかん。おい、連れてき。
Inspector spat the words with a reddened face. He slammed the steel desk again hard enough to leave a dent. Wow, he's strong. Taking that as their cue,
That seems to be his problem. That is not mine. It's him, so you have to pay for it.
he needs help.
Yeah, he needs help. He needs help so bad.
Taking that as their cue, two policemen entered and took Akira's arms. They were the same officers who had arrested him earlier. You?
Oh my god, this guy.
さて、
Yeah.
See,
快適なお部屋へご案内だ。お前が住んでたボロい犬小屋より居心地はマシだろうよ。
Hey, come on. His house is so comfy though. I really look at it. At least he have room for his own.
the tin-faced officer sneered, his voice slimy in Akira's ears. Ew!
This
Slimy.
guy creepy.
Spurred by revulsion, Akira spat at his cheek. Ooh! Bad! That was good. His entire face twitching with rage. The officer wiped his cheek with the back of his hand. Akira laughed scornfully.
だったらあんたが入ればいいだろ
Yeah.
狂犬が
The definition of the fucking bad guy. Definition of the bad guy over here, man.
The second they yanked him out of the interrogation room, the well-built officer pulled Akira's arms together behind him. The other officer unhooked his club. Akira braced himself for what was coming. So corrupt.
ほらさっきの勢いはどうした
Oh, he's just holding his hand actually, the main character. I'm sure he'd get out of this just fine. Like 100% sure. He holding his hand.
The dull thwack of his club echoed down the dimly lit corridor. Grimacing, Akira squeezed his eyes shut and endured it without making a sound. If he let so much a single groan, he'd be giving them exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, true though.
泣けよ
Oh.
泣きわめけよ
You.
What are you, Masashi? What are you, a fucking M? Huh? Oh my god. This guy enjoying it.
Harder blows rained down on him as they hurled him back against the wall. He caught a glimpse of the tin-faced officer grinning, his eyes wide with sadistic joy. Who was the mad dog here exactly? This whole country was rotten beyond redemption. How was anyone supposed to believe in a brighter future? They were long past the point of no return. Beating continued, but the more it hurt, the more determined Akira became to give these scumbags nothing. He was a sadist.
Oh, this room is kinda looking good though.
Did-
Not gonna lie.
It's
so
a
clean
cell.
and it's so clean than the room that they take the cab. Wow. That is kinda clean. Yeah, I would live there. Why not?
How
Look kinda
much?
comfy too.
Yeah, but like you see the window, the door,
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's still clean enough for me.
no PC. How much time had passed since they put him in the cell? They'd beaten him from head to toe. Dull ache filled every inch of his body. Without a doubt, this jail was the whitest building Akira had ever seen. Everything was white from the walls and ceiling to the floor.
Like I said, it was so clean. I'm amazed by it actually. I'm surprised even did clean for the jail cell.
Strangely, it made the place seem dim and eerie, even though the facility was lit by so many fluorescent lights that he could barely open his eyes. Occasionally, he heard freakish moans or off-key humming in the distance. If anything, it
Policeman.
felt more like a hospital psych ward than a place to house criminals.
Oh,
Agreed.
really? Wait, they have that?
Agreed, you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hospital
Yeah,
psych
maybe.
instead of jail.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was precisely what it was. Several
Okay.
years ago, due to a rise in crimes related to mental illness, juvenile crimes foremost among them, the government decided that all criminals' behavior was indicative of an underlying psychological pathology. Thus, prisons became institutions providing psychiatric treatment. The government...
The thing is he didn't even do anything.
He's
Yeah.
innocent,
Yeah.
and the policemen were all sadistics, even the detective in my eyes. The government went to great lengths to overturn existing perceptions of prison, such as by implementing strict sanitation standards and using white interiors to emphasize sterility, but what lay within was no less hellish than before. As ever, the government only cared about outward appearances. It felt so pristine here, it made him shudder. Akira's bed was soaked with the powerful scent of disinfectants, more than enough to give him a headache. Oof. Somewhere out there, he could hear a man with a deep voice calling for his mother. Perhaps the merciless whiteness of his room was making him hallucinate. Akira gazed at his equally white walls. The man's voice called up a memory. You're not my real mom. Akira had been walking down a residential street when a child had burst from a nearby house, screaming at the top of his lungs. A woman, probably his mother, had shouted after the child, but he'd run off without sharing her a glance. Akira had only caught a short glimpse, but it had only been enough to see the bruised scars covering the child's body. In the end, strangers were strangers. Might have been different in another era. Right now, everything was hopelessly worn out. No one could afford to love someone who wasn't truly related to them. When you got down to it, the only person you could trust was yourself. The ponderous sound of a door sliding open cut through the din. Akira pulled himself out of his reverie. He could see a guard swaggering down the hallway. Halting in front of Akira's cell, he briefly looked inside with a scowl, then undid the lock and slid the bars open. Clearly, he'd rather be anywhere else.
出ろ、面会だ。
Visitors.
面会
Visitor?
He couldn't think of anyone who'd come looking for him here. As he
Oh, I
considered
know
this-
her.
Yeah,
it
me
is-
too.
Yeah,
The
I
guard
know who would
impatiently
come for him.
dragged his chin towards the wall. Though, still didn't make any sense of him. Akira slowly forced his sore body to stand.
I think I know who coming in.
The pure white room into which Akira was ushered resembled a bleached version of his cell. Bleached! If they shut him up in a place like this, he was confident that he'd go crazy in a matter of hours. The room was divided down the middle by a thin sheet of glass, with chairs set up on either side.
面会時間は10分だ。
That's so normal, standard, right?
I guess, yeah.
The guard's forbidding voice echoed off the walls. Akira's mysterious visitors were already waiting on the opposite side of the glass. Visitors, not only one you.
Oh, let's see. Oh,
A woman seated with a man standing at her side. He'd never seen either one of before. I thought it was
Okay,
the
but-
childhood friend.
yeah. I thought I thought it was his friend or something. That took a turn.
Now I want to actually hear from these people the voices. At first glance,
That
they all
that took a
almost
turn.
didn't
Wow.
seem real. Everything about them was too neat, too tidy. It was like looking at a pair of life-size dolls. I mean, I want to know what the woman has for a voice. I mean, if it's really
I
suitable.
cannot really guessing what they are. They're working for government or some corporation. It's so
Yeah.
obvious. Or Yakuza. I'm sorry. I'm just guessing, by the way.
Yeah, as Akira took his seat, the woman's narrow lips widened in a smile. Her skin was as white as wax.
国民番号11298 TM3099 だな。
You,
Her voice okay.
as always,
I like that.
Japanese voices are sounding great on the characters.
Yeah.
Akira had never gotten used to the lifeless numbers the government had assigned him. He stared at the woman in silence. Meeting his eyes steadily, she opened her mouth again.
担当直入に言おう。我々がここに来たのは他でもない。
I'm sorry. The murder that he been accusing of, there's no evidence yet.
You said
At
they are
all.
for the government.
Yeah, I think so.
俺じゃない。
It wasn't me. A smile deepened.
お前の容疑が晴れる可能性はほぼゼロに等しい。
I'm sorry. I'm not saying that for you. The chance of you being clear is absolutely like 75% because there's no evidence.
She gave him 0.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 75% again, but the evidence that they have. I'm sorry, man. I
Who on earth were these two?
I mean,
Obviously.
the lowest lawyer would know where they stand.
Obviously, they weren't ordinary civilians, and considering the way they carried themselves,
自己紹介が遅れたな。私はエマ。彼はグエンだ。
So for
まあ、
government
公
then.
にはできない
Simple.
立場の
Or
まま
Yakuza or
それを
whatever they
思
are.
ってもらえればいい。
probably Yakuza. Well,
maybe yeah.
whatever the
I
man.
mean, most of the time I heard that Yakuza connect to the government anyway. So yeah.
Yeah,
it
but
could be
like
both.
if they were directly under the government, they would just tell them straightly they are working for the government. But Yakuza, they would say, we don't give you our for whom we're working.
True.
話を戻そう。今言った通り、お前の容疑が晴れる可能性はほとんどない。殺人罪を犯した者の末路は。
He didn't do it. The thing they have no evidence for it.
Bitch.
But anyway, let's continue.
I want a
see how
lawyer.
this go. Let's see how this go.
Her tone was suggestive, prodding. She was testing him. his annoyance building. Akira replied,
終身刑だろ。
そうだ。当然その恐ろしさも知っているな。
She looks hot, but she is like stupid a bit, I think. I mean, giving him 0 chances.
No,
Hello.
no. Pep,
Yes.
looking a bit too short. She's testing him.
Alive.
She wanna see how he will react.
Ah.
Let's continue.
So it's
Yeah.
not what she's saying with 0%. It's not 0, right?
Maybe not. Maybe that's how the new law works, but yeah. Maybe she was trying to threaten him as all.
Ah, I see. Then she's not so bad. Hopefully. Under the new laws of this country, all murderers, regardless of circumstance, received life in prison. But what that really meant was torture, state sanctions, that lasted until your death. Prisoners were prevented from killing themselves and were tormented in ways designed to ensure that they lasted as long as possible. Tormented you until you die.
I'm not even surprised, right?
Times, murderers who killed people in particularly heinous ways were forced to undergo the exact same treatment they themselves had inflicted. It was all to bring the rising rate of violent crime under control. Also the government claimed.
このままだとお前は確実に終身刑となる。
俺じゃない。
Akira glared at him, his words imbued with anger. More than he feared death or punishment, he was infuriated by this outrageous treatment. Emma lifted her chin, a gesture of contempt.
いくらここで無実を主張したところで法廷で裁かれれば終わりだ。
I'm sorry, what?
何もわざわざお前に最後通告をしに来たわけではない。
You.
Wait. Okay, excuse me, what? How did court work in this universe? Like, no, they just listen to what they said and no evidence to them, and then win. Okay, let's continue.
Here, look what she's saying. Listen, we didn't come all the way here just to tell you you're fat. Let's get down to business. Now she's talking. Emma's eyes held a challenging light.
解放してやれなくもない。ただし、こちらが提示する条件を飲めばな。
I think that was actually their first plan overall, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They were trying to quote something.
国民番号 11298TM3099 ブラスター個人戦優勝者敗戦記録はなし。
Yep, it's scary what this is going. They're trying to recruit him.
Forcefully recruiting.
Yeah.
どいつもこいつもよっぽどブラスターが好きなんだな。
Like he got a lot of recruitments, but like everyone, he disliked it, and now, yeah, forcing him. He was starting to get sick of hearing about it.
You know what? I got some idea where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma laughed
But
a
I
little
would-
at his response.
豊島
I will talk
と
about
い
it
う
later.
町のことは知ってい
Toshima?
るな。
No.
The sudden change in topic took Akira by surprise. Toshima. A district of the old lands, the abandoned capital metropolis, where criminals gathered to flee the spreading tendrils of reconstruction. The city's existence caused no end of trouble for both the TFC and Nikoran, but neither side was willing to let the other solve the problem. A true solution was likely impossible as long as the country remained divided.
知っているという顔だな。
Oh,
そ
I
れな
forgot
ら
the
イグ
country
ラ
is
の噂
divided.
ぐらいは
No
聞いた
wonder
こと
why.
があるだろう。
You,
ブラ
now
ス
it's
ターに参加
Igra.
しているのならなおさらな
Who is Ika?
イグラか。
Let's see.
Igra. He'd heard the rumors. Igra was an underground fighting tournament held in the lawless Toshima district. There were more
See.
than a few blaster participants who longed to enter Igra.
同じストリートファイトとはいえ、イグラはブラスターのようなお遊びではない。命をかけた真剣勝負だ。勝ち残った者はイルレの座を手に入れ、名実ともに豊島の王として君臨す
Maybe
る。
she want him to fight in the underground so they can take over.
Take over
Maybe.
the full Toshima
Yeah.
district. That's between the borders, it seems.
Yeah.
イルレ
豊島を拠点とする麻薬組織ヴィスキオの首領のことだ。連中はそう呼んでいる。 イグラとはイルレの座をかけた争奪戦のことだ。最も強い者こそがビスキオを率いるにふさわしいと、あの町に群れる狂犬どもは本気でそう思っている。血みどろの殺し合いが日々平然と行われている。というわけだ。
If they actually want Akira to win there, it looks more like if they are working for the government to make him a puppet for the government to rule over Toshima then.
Yeah.
So
true.
rotten of the government.
Or any corporation they're working for, actually.
Yeah. We don't know who they're working for. Not just a rumor.
Yeah.
Street gangs were one thing, but a leader of an organization like Vishio would need brains, not just brawns. It was as plain as the nose on Akira's face that choosing their leader by strength alone would eventually lead to their downfall.
それが本当なら、ビスキオは正真正銘のバカの群れだな。
だが、ビスキオは我々 CFC や日光連も無視できない巨大なシンジケートとして勢力を誇っている。
Wait, you! Look!
それがなぜか。わかるか
She showed for whom she working actually.
Nah, Nikurin would be some. I don't think so. Let's continue.
No,
you know,
left and right. It's Nikurin and CFC, and she said now that neither we nor Nikurin. That means she's working for CFC.
Who's CFC?
Kind of the government, also CFC, and the government Nikurin on the other side between Toshima. And she said it like we instead of CFC.
She said exposing herself like right there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
頂点に立つ者が不動だからだ。イグラが始まってから今日に至るまで、現役のイルレを破って新たな王座を手に入れた者はいない。
I see.
一人もな。
一人も？
イグラの開催者である初代のイルレが、今も腐敗の王としてビスキオに君臨しているということだ。裏を返せば、奴は腐敗の自信があるからこそ、王座争奪戦などという水強なゲームを始めたのだ。
I would say. Don't think that someone couldn't beat him. Someone could have beat you at some point, and you better be prepared for it. No matter how good you are.
Yeah. Without realizing it, Akira's image of the man called Ilre had become a presence in his mind too great to ignore. The tournament's founder and undefeated champion, who willingly risked his life and positioned to lay low all the brave souls who faced him. No one would doubt the strength of a man like that.
現役のイルレは最強というカリスマ性によって組織を一つにまとめている。奴の腐敗伝説が崩れれば、組織も崩壊せざるを得ないだろう。それが。
Emma paused to give Akira an icy glare.
我々の望むところでもある。
Akira had begun to connect the dots.
要するに、イルレを打ち負かしてしまうような挑戦者を探している。そういうことか。
Have to be him.
その通りだ。例えば、ブラスターで連続優勝を飾るほどのストリートファイトの熟練者などは、実に有望株だろうね。
Yeah, he never lost one too. Yeah.
It was obvious by now what condition he would need to meet in order to get his murder charge dropped. They definitely faked this.
Yeah, they take this opportunity actually.
This icy-eyed woman wanted him to enter Igra to join the Festival of Slaughter and fight his way to the top.
あんたたち、国か警察かそっち側の人間だろ。いいのか。未来を担う若者を殺し合いに駆り立てて。
Guys are with the cops.
My guys. Oh wait, is he still alive?
In response, Emma laughed scornfully.
無期懲役囚が担う未来などない。それに、お前の知る意味での警察とも我々は違う。我々は治安を維持するのではなく、治安の障害を排除する役目を負った人間。
CFC.
Yeah, it's simple now. Yeah. Let's make it simple now.
Indeed, the detectives who questioned Akira had an entirely different aura than the two currently in front of him. These two, they looked like the sort of who treated people's life as if they were numbers on a balance sheet.
これまでにも数回にわたってビスキオに侵入しイルレを暗殺する作戦が実行されたが、その全てが失
To
敗
be
に終わった
fair, I want to put this speculation, but I still don't know what side government they are on because I'm sure that they said their name, that the government name, but it's not meaning like they didn't work for them. It's just like in case of we might be that two individual, like just two of them. That's all.
Or maybe they are working for a company that is helping this government, right? Like this, you mean?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know what they. I
イル
mean,
レ
sure
の
they're
守り
working
は
for
鉄壁
government,
だ
but which one? That's why I'm
奴
saying.
に近づくどころか正
That's
体
all.
をつかむことさえ叶わな
Just
か
to
っ
make it clear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
た。
so
奴は
we
イル
don't
レの
come
決
to a
勝戦にしか
conclusion.
姿を現さない。奴と接触し仕留める機会があるとすれば、そこ
I
し
saw
かない。
Micah in the VC, Kimisen.
Okay.
また随分必死だな。
豊島から CFC に流出している麻薬の量を知っているか？ビスキオは我々にとって目に余るほど大きな海だ。
Ischio. So they saw themselves as serving the greater good, all without getting their own hands dirty.
俺がイルレを倒したとして、もし新しいイルレが現れたら
Simple, you took his throne.
Eyes fixed on Engama's expressionless face, Akira questioned her with a challenge in his voice.
もしかしたら俺が2代目のイルレになってまた麻薬を流出させるかもしれない。
You know what? Yeah, he that's wrong though. Yeah.
What will she say now? Emma was not impressed. She laughed harshly, eyes staring down at him as if he were a worm.
お前が富や権力のためにリーダーシップを発揮するというのか？面白い。お前についてのプロファイリングはすべて検証済みだ。
Oh, he not laughing because he not good. He laughing because he know he wouldn't want that. You know what? You know what? This girl is something. Yeah. this girl is
Background check.
something.
Check.
Yeah, he already done a background check. Yeah, this guy done their homework. This guy knows what's going on.
Bullseye.
Yeah.
He loathed the aggravation that came with leading a group. He had no interest in being a drug king, nor in working for the government. But what he wanted even less than that was to rot away behind bars without ever clearing his name. And then there was Igra. Fight to the death, not safe like Blaster. The victor would earn awe-inspiring regnowns, and the loser would pay for his weakness with his life.
選ぶ権利はお前にある。強制はしない。
Take it. I would take it though.
Emma watched
At
Akira
least-
with the eyes of a
At
father.
least you have a chance to do something if you get out. Yeah. I would take it.
Slowly, Akira felt an emotion rise to fill his mind. It wasn't fear. It was a kind of determination, similar to curiosity, or wish long denied, which broke with its
Yeah, true.
quiet
Yeah, I
exhilaration.
feel that.
Ikra would be the ultimate battle, one where Akira could give it all. He could fight until his life had been whittled to the bone. He'd always wondered what would happen when his flesh reached its limits. Military training had taught him both how to kill and how to die. But that was all just theory. The war had ended before he could truly test himself. The void that not even Blaster could fill. Perhaps Ikra might offer something to silence his gnawing emptiness. Either way, life would be over the moment he turned down Emma's proposal. All that would await him then was a suffocation cell and the endless grin of torture. They would wear his body and heart down, nothing until he returned to the nameless dust that had birthed him. He accepted her offer and succeeded. He would be free to go, cleared of suspicion. Akira didn't need to wait the option to know his answer.
Yeah, that's not clearly how this go.
He slowly lifted his head to face the woman who was, for this one moment, savior. He knew it without a word. Emma replied with an arresting smile.
成立だ。
それでは麻薬組織ビスキオとイグラについて簡単に説明させてもらう。
First time Gren voice.
Yeah, first time Gwen. No.
Actually hot voice.
Too
Ben,
bad.
who had
Too
kept
bad
silent
he
the
only
entire
wanted-
time,
yeah.
suddenly opened his mouth.
まずイグラのルールについて説明する。重火器の使用は禁止、殺人は可。先に背中が地面についたものを敗者とする。また
Then
一度参加したら棄権することはできない。参加方法はイグラを取り締まるアルビトロへ直接希望を伝えて参加賞となるタグを受け取る。タグは5枚1組。どれか1枚を必ず首から下げておかなければならない。他4枚は所持さえしていればよい。
so you don't have to. So to make it clear that you have to need to have a dog tag carry at least one, and other 4 you can keep them somewhere else. That's what he's saying, right?
One hanging from your neck at all times, yeah. Keep the other
Okay,
4 on
yeah.
you, it doesn't matter how you carry them.
タグに
Ah,
はトランプと同じ数字と記号が割り当てられている。
You know what?
決められた
I
種類の
I
タグを
I I
5
I
枚集め
forgot
て
for a
ア
second
ルビ
it's
ト
a
ロ
BL
へ申請
game.
することでイルレへの挑戦権を
I was so immersed by the other thing. I'm sorry.
いつでも挑めるというわけではない。
Oh my god.
以上だ。
His story building it's great. I love this.
the way he laid it out so smoothly, voice detached and businesslike, actually made it harder to understand. Akira gave
Actually,
him a silent shrug.
I loved it actually. It's not like some BL game that go like, yeah, I wanna date this guy. I'm just gonna lose him or something like that. This have story building. I kinda like it. That's
That's
why.
why I like these games.
要するに
Yeah.
銃を
This
使わず
is
地
kind of
面に背中をつけず
great. I kinda
タ
love
グを
this
1
game.
枚首から
Wow.
下げ5種類のタグを
It's
集
kinda
めればいい。
immersing.
Actually pretty good written, and to think that like it came out last year.
No, it's come out 5 years now. It's just coming to English version this year, I think, or last year.
イルレへの
Was
挑戦
that?
権を
Yeah.
獲得するために集めるタグの種類は
English version, I mean. Sorry.
Yeah,
ポーカーと
because
似たようなものだ。
there's some
ロ
people
イヤルスト
see
レ
the
ート
English
と
part
10以
too.
上の
That's
フ
why.
ルハウス。
Okay.
数とは関係ないが、それ以外は何を揃えても無効だ。
That meant either a group made up of a 10, a jack, a queen, a king, and an ace. Or a set containing 3 tags of one rank and 2 of another, all 10 or higher.
面倒だな。
実際にはそれほどでもないだろう。右合の州にも通じるルールだからな。
出発は明日。武器、参加証など必要なものはこちらで用意しておく。それまで自宅待機。監視をつけさせてもらう。
You know what? Compare living to USA or in a country, I think this is the worst situation to be in right now.
監視
念のためだ。それに明日以降の手順についても連中に聞くといい。話
At
は以上
least
だ。
they didn't.
何か質問は
Okay, at least they didn't do what Arasaka did. Didn't like make him go with empty-handed. At least that's
Yeah.
good. If it were Arasaka, they would let you go like no fun or no anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaning back in his chair, Akira regarded Emma expressionlessly.
不満なら
That sentence at the end. Oh, we see her now in full. Emma turned and slowly
Oh.
rose to her feet.
それでは健闘を祈る。
She was about to leave. Emma looked over her shoulder and twisted her lips into a vicious. Akira cared little about people's appearances, but even he thought this expression suited her better than any other.
Akira saying like no bitch, I'm gay. Oh. Oh, I have to say it. That's all you have to say it.
Okay, Akira wasn't sure what he'd imagined when they'd mentioned keeping an eye on him, but certainly nothing as ostentatious as this. A pair of men in black suits had been trailing after him ever since he'd left police custody. Their grim, tight-bound demeanor went quite at odds with Akira's casual getup, and he found himself greatly discomfited by the looks passers-by kept.
I think they miss. Well, I think they try to say discomfort.
Okay,
Yeah.
discomfited maybe also by the looks passers-by kept giving them. Felt like being in a bad film. He hurried home, unable to withstand much more of it. By the time he reached his building, the sky was shifting to a deep blue. He went down the hall to his apartment and was about to stick the key in the door when he sensed them behind him and looked over his shoulder.
どこまでついてくるつもりだ
God.
無駄口を叩くな
His
Warden A?
attitude. Yeah, Warden A. His attitude was as haughty as his getup. Akira heaved a sigh.
Akira!
At the sound of his name, Akira lowered his key and turned around. A figure in blue coveralls, Keisuke, was running towards him, panting. Once he reached Akira's side, he stopped and doubled over, shoulders heaving as he gasped.
Akira! よかった。戻ってこなかったら警察に乗り込もうかと。お前、ずっとここで待ってたのか
It had been quite a while since the cops had hauled him off.
心配だったし、アキラ
あー
戻ってくるなら真っ先にここだろうと思って。
You know why? That's some research that I know some
Aw.
who is sure that you can.
That is so cute, you. He was waiting for him all the time, even when he was sleeping at the jail. Aww. One of the men stepped forward, interrupting him. He stood between Akira and Keisuke like a wall.
不必要な接触は避けてもらおうか
Thank you for the reunion.
Come
なん
on.
だよ、
At least,
あんた。
at least just make him a high cover of it. Come on.
お前に知る権利はない
Damn.
どけよ
Keisuke tried to shove him out of the way, but the man didn't budge.
邪魔をするな。
The other man reached out to seize Keisuke.
それはこっちのセリフだ。
The two men turned at the sound of Akira's voice. Their movements were nearly
こ
identical.
れが最後になるかもしれないんだ。別れを惜しむくらいいいだろ。
He emphasized those final words. The suited men considered this for a moment. Finally, one of them muttered an answer.
10分だけだ。わかった。ケイスケ。
Reply perfunctory. Akira exchanged looks with Keisuke and unlocked the door. He was about to enter the room when a callous hand grabbed him by the shoulder.
待て話だけならここでもできるだろう
Oh, come on.
I would get
I know
annoyed by
that
this.
I know that he have to go on a mission to something to pay and he might not even come back. But come on, they are his never fan. You gonna keep him out just for that? You already got him by his yeah, you already got him locked out. Come on.
Annoyed, Akira shook the hand off and slowly turned around. Then he seized Keisuke's arm, pulled him close, and wrapped an arm over his shoulders.
ここじゃちょっとできないようなことをしたい仲なんで。
Oh, yeah,
Not
but
meant
he
for
said
an
that.
audience. The man froze.
No.
行こう
Yeah.
ケイスケ。
Even Akira himself thought his act convincing. It was amusing to see those cops at a loss. Akira closed the door slowly, dragging Keisuke, who was even more shocked than the cops inside.
I would be a bit shocking too, like I lie
なんだよ
on that.
それ。
Seated on the bed, eyes so wide that Akira doubted they could open any further, Keisuke laid his hands at his sides and leaned forward in disbelief.
そんなの卑怯だ。ありえないだろう。トシマなんて。しかも途中でやめられないんだろ。死ねって言ってるようなもんだ。
What he wanted to be
拒
fair.
否したところで終身刑だ。大して変わらない。
Yeah, same different too, yeah.
でも、
Grimacing as if it were his life on the line, Keisuke cast his eyes downward.
どうにかならないのかよ。
He let out a low groan and flopped back onto
I'm
bed.
gonna say this one word. Looking for happiness in this place. Wrong city, man. Wrong people. I got it from
Sadly.
Johnny Lai. Yeah.
Akira
I got
hadn't
that from-
planned to tell anyone about his mission. There was nobody he considered close enough for that. But now that Keisuke had seen him with his surveillance detail, Akira had opted to give him a short explanation. He and Keisuke had grown up in the same orphanage. They were what you might call childhood friends.
Oh.
Akira hated being tied down, but it wasn't as if being around other people repulsed him. It was just that most people kept their distance, unable to cope with his terse demeanor. But Keisuke wasn't like most people. He was always following Akira around. Though he was kind of unreliable, Akira didn't dislike it. Honest. Some would say naive personality.
ああ、もう
This is so sad. Keisuke sprang up all of a sudden, making the bed creak loudly.
なんだよ。いや、俺がジタバタしてもどうしようもないんだけど。でも、なんか、いても立ってもいられなくて。
Akira, who was sitting by the wall, let out a small sigh.
俺の問題だし、俺が決めたことだ。
The light from the room's single lamp wavered, casting deep shadows over Keisuke's profile as he bit his lip and stared into space.
アキラは強いよな。
Still, standing in place, he murmured as if he were talking to himself, then exhaled a long, slow breath.
とっととタグ集めて、イルレとやらに勝ってくればいいだけだ。
Those words made Keisuke frown. Akira knew this fight wouldn't be easy, but if there was no other way, then his only option was to get it over with. Keisuke. Why was he taking this so hard, even though it had nothing to do with him? Whatever happened, it would be the result of Akira's choices. Nobody else could change his fate. Despite that, seeing Keisuke like his mate like this made Akira wonder if he had a heart at all. Supposing their places were switched, would Akira be this worried about Keisuke? The answer was probably no. Please be a bit friendlier to your childhood friend. Several hours after he slid under his blankets, having finally sent the fretting Keisuke away, he awoke once again to the sound of his door slamming open. Yo, it's beginning! This was the second day in a row this had happened. He felt like he could justify being in a bad mood. He rose sluggishly, knitting his eyebrows at the pain in his head. Cold crept up from the soles of his feet. The digital clock atop his refrigerator told him that it was well before dawn. Unsatisfied with having interrupted Akira's sleep, his visitors came trampling through his room without any concern for courtesy.
起きろ、出発だ。
You, we have visitors.
It's a warden.
The same black-suited pair as before stood beside his bed, looking down at him. One of them tossed him a small heavy bag. He opened it. Inside were solid emergency rations, 3 500 ml water bottles, and an envelope of money. A sheet of knife,
That's
a
the
phone,
knife, a
a
phone,
bundle of 5
a bunch of
tags,
5 dog tag. Huh.
which
So
was
they
served as
prepare
proof
everything
of
for him then.
identification in each tag was engraved with a number and a symbol, a 3 and a jack of hearts, 6 and 7 of spades, the 2 of clubs. According
Okay.
to the guy named Gwen, he had to take tags from the other participants and form an appropriate poker hand. In other words, the only meaningful tag currently in his possession was the Jack of Hearts. The remaining 4 were all junk. He needed a 10, a king, queen, and an ace. Or if he got another jack, he could also go for a full house.
どけよ。
Pushing the cups aside with both hands, Akira began making his preparations. Having 2 men stuffed into already tight room made the process difficult. Stuffed a bare
Yeah,
minimum
it would
of
be a
clothes.
bit difficult too.
Yeah.
They wanna let him shower first. Damn, what a fucking.
Does Akira has actually in his living place a shower? I mean, look, I don't see another door.
Every living pet have a shower, babe.
Some actually not.
Really?
Yeah, there exist some houses without a shower or a bathroom. He stuffed a bare minimum of clothes into the bag's remaining space, then took a bottle of soda water from the fridge and gulped some down to wake himself up. Today it's cool. Bubbly Passage disagreed with him. As he finished getting ready, he happened to glance at the shelf. A knife and a worn-out leather sheet was lying there. He
Oh,
picked it up, dusted it off, and drew the blade, like and well balanced. It had a beautiful shape with a decorative engraving. Most of the design had been scratched away, but he could still make out letters at the blade space, probably words in some foreign language. He couldn't remember how long it had been lying there. Vaguely, he recalled having received it during his military training, but he had a feeling it wasn't meant for practical use. It was much more durable than it appeared, though. Easier to use than some random knife. He'd kept it all this time because he liked how it looked. Might as well take it. Easy of use was important, and he was accustomed to handling this one. Putting the knife the cops had given him on the shelf, he retrieved the more familiar weapon and stuck it through his belt. His preparations complete. Akira shouldered the bag and headed outside. He didn't bother to lock the door. There was nothing in the room that mattered. That's so poor.
I mean, to be fair, he might not even want to make it back. So why bother, right?
Yeah. The morning sun was hazy, but still sufficient to make him squint at its brightness.
これから豊島へ向かうためのルートを説明する。
Per car?
Okay.
The man began explaining the way, his tone of voice suggesting that he was only repeating what he'd been taught. The road from the CFC to Toshima was all but straight, so there was no need to worry about getting lost.
So that means that this guy don't even know what they're getting at too, huh?
However, he would have to pass through several outer sections of the old lands before reaching his destination. It would be difficult to make it there safely alone.
案内人を用意してやる。国境で合流しろ。
Okay.
A guide.
案内人少々雰囲気の変わった男だ。見ればすぐわかる。そいつがいれば旧祖地区も抜けられるはずだ。
It's been for a while now. Didn't know that.
I know the time with visual novels go actually away, even though it's so
Yeah.
really interesting, right? If this man
Yeah,
could
it is,
traverse the old
yeah.
lands, he must be quite capable. It all seemed rather suspicious, but with nothing else to go on, Akira reluctantly began walking towards the border. Even though the KFC wanted to say, oh my god!
I didn't think about it till saying it. Oh my
CFC
God.
had undergone a fair amount.
Okay, let's try again.
Even though the CFC had undergone a fair amount of reconstruction, the scenery became increasingly threadbare as he continued towards the suburbs.
I think the word you say threadbare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gap between rich and poor continued to grow, and nowhere was that more readily apparent than in the contrast between these deserted houses and the structures built as part of the revival. This country abounded with needless things, while everything important rusted away. He had never set foot in the old lands. Old lands.
Old land.
I'm reading
Yeah.
always odd lands. It's odd.
It's old land, babe.
Okay. Okay, in the old lands before, but he couldn't imagine how it could be worse. At last, he saw a dilapidated sign indicating that the border lay ahead. He spotted a human figure standing motionless beside it. The man looked at Akira with folded arms. The guide! Not my type. This had to be the guide. while his clothing didn't especially stand out. He clearly wasn't from the CFC. He had a very different air about him. It was the quiet pressure exuded by those who have overcome the harshest trials. Chill ran down Akira's spine.
あんたか。俺を豊島まで案内してくれるのは。
Instead of
It's him,
answering,
yeah.
the man stared at Akira with eyes like horror. He couldn't look away.
Okay.
After a moment, the man wordlessly turned his back and began walking towards the old land side of the border. He creeped Akira's out, but in the absence of any other options, the only thing to do was follow warily after. You know what, Yuu?
Yeah.
He'd heard it would take roughly a day to walk from here to Toshima. Though the way may have been straight, the distance involved was no small matter. I wasn't able to save this game up till now.
Wait, you have to save the game?
It can be saved. And I didn't save it because I don't know how it's working.
Wait, let me look it up.
The old lands lay ahead.
Wait, let me look at it.
Shall I just continue?
Wait. No, I think continue first.
Okay. At last, Akira felt his heart beat faster. Ruins as far as the eye could see. There was no other way to describe it. That was how far the old lands had fallen. The sky had still been bright and clear when Akira met up with his guide, but now clouds had begun to gather. Yes?
Press S to save.
Escape?
Press S.
ESC?
No, S.
S?
That
Stop.
S.
Okay.
I think.
Ooh! It's working.
Okay.
My first time I know that it's working to save.
Yeah, we were playing that we don't even know how to save it. I said like you have to save.
This is so sad.
Yeah.
Imagine you play a game and don't know how to save. Damn. Okay. The sky had still been bright and clear when Akira met up with his guide, but now clouds had begun to gather, as though to mourn the wretched spectacle below. The shadows lurking in the wreckage of forgotten buildings were deep and darker than night. There was no maze, but take one false step, you would lose your way, condemned to wander for all eternity. Many who entered never emerged. There was another reason no one tried to enter the old lands. The refugees were lying in wait. Refugees. The name for people who, after the war had ended, had found no place for themselves in the CFC or Nikorin. Instead, they had drifted to this blasted place. It was difficult to eke out a living in these ruins. It meant a constant struggle against starvation and death, which was why the refugees attacked anyone who tried to pass through, the same as a pack of starving wolves. If they caught you, it was over. Hungry sighs drifted past on the wind. Voices like a groaning animal, the sound of running feet, and he could see where ruins and shadows not distinguish the forms of the refugees. Akira found the atmosphere stifling, but the guide walked on without visible caution. Akira struggled to keep. Mistake? Grammar mistake, you? Confirmed?
I don't know.
Akira struggled to keep his eyes on the man. At times, he melted into the shadows and seemed to vanish from sight. Suddenly, he heard a strange noise. He stopped and focused on his surroundings. It was a grating sound, like that of someone scratching at iron. The kind of sound one might hear emanating from a misshapen work of art. When he took a reflexive step towards it, the guide spun without warning and dashed to his side. I think he's not a man, he's an animal, with that sound. It was already too late by the time he wondered what it was. Something rushed out of the shadows from which the sound had come, moving at an incredible speed. The guide grabbed his arm, jerking his body to the side. Sharp, heavy winds shot past his shoulder, failing to lock onto its prey. The blast of the wind planted his hand on the ground, saving its body as it landed to face him. Akira could hear its ragged breath, could see its eyes glowing in the darkness. Its throat rumbled. Though it seemed bestial, silhouette on its hands and knees was shaped like a human being. Presence multiplied. These are human beasts, or humans that became beasts. Damn.
I see. Hey, Micah.
Hi, Micah.
Hi, Koichi. Hi, you.
Hi. Wow.
I see a third face there.
Oh my god, his face. Ah! Bam!
Yes.
Move him! Move him,
Okay.
please.
Okay, where's face? What number is it? This here.
I don't know.
I found it.
Okay.
Where should I put his face? Here?
A bit down, yeah. His face, come on my face.
This here?
Somewhere, yeah. Okay,
That looks
fine.
actually pretty good. Don't you think so?
I guess I don't know.
Thanks, Micah,
Thank
for
you.
coming. Its presence multiplied. Another and another, like cancer cells dividing. In a matter of seconds, the area was filled with slavering beasts.
バカがふらふら歩くんじゃない。
The guard said coolly. Clicking his tongue, he came up beside Akira. He had a 15-centimeter army knife in hand. They were surrounded, trapped at the center of a steadily shrinking circle.
You are a monster in this universe.
No,
You
they
know what,
aren't.
I'm not even
These
surprised.
aren't monsters. These are humans, shaped like monsters on all fours because they didn't find a way to join either CFC or Nikurin. So they stayed here and, like, with starvation, they became just mindless beasts, the humans.
Oh, I see.
Probably naked. The air was
No.
crammed with tension
Why you have to say that?
as they and their enemies watch each other warily. Succumb to the pressure or make one wrong move, and that would be the end.
こんなところで心中はごめんだ。
奇遇だな。俺もだ。
Standing back to back with the man, Akira glared at the creatures around them.
数が多すぎる。まともに相手をするな。
わかってる。
Ah, good guy.
ブラスターのチャンピオンなんだろお前。なら楽勝だな。
Akira replied with silence. The menu.
I mean, they call them creatures, so it's still creatures, so I don't care.
The growls were growing more ferocious, more insistent. He sensed the guy drop into a crouch. Akira did the same, sharpening his focus, determined not to miss the chance that would come. Eyes peered out from the ink-black shadows, the eyes of predators desperate for prey. In an environment such as this, reason was nothing but an impediment to survival. These creatures possessed human forms, but had cast aside their human hearts, and in doing so, had obtained strength to rival any beasts. If they caught him, he was done for. Shifting his back hider on his shoulder, he slowly closed his hand around the hilt of the knife stuck through his belt. Behind him, he felt the guide's presence shift. Now.
Oh, then the soul of the creature, then.
The man.
Oh my god.
The beast attacked on almost the exact instant that Akira and his guide dove forward. Oh, this time front view, you.
Oh, he have a front wheel. That's
Ooh.
okay.
Sharp scraps of metal and glass struck from every direction. He knocked them away, but they kept on coming. He dodged. Oh, this time I see like Akira, first time view here.
I like this. I really like this.
That art, I like it too.
Yeah.
I like the full style of it actually.
Yeah.
He dodged a swarm of grasping arms, slashing at a few in passing. A shriek, blood sprayed into the air. He saw blood frequently, even in Blaster. The fights had ceased to captivate him, but that instant alone, that first spurt of blood each night, still brought him a sense of elation. Deep beneath the heart-pounding terror of battle, Akira felt something smolder in his chest. The red drops hanging in space burned themselves into his retina. But as always, it faded, and once that moment passed, he no longer felt a thing, no matter how much blood flowed. The refugees' attacks were chaotic, but once he grew accustomed to them, he found himself able to predict their movement. One of them leaped at his back. He tried to shake it off, but it dug its nails in. Pain shot through his shoulder. Another aimed for his arm. He swiftly knocked it away with his back, then slashed at the hand, clutching his shoulder. Just before Akira's knife reached its target, a howl of anguish filled his ears, and the wake on his back slid down and vanished. He turned around to see his guide standing there, hard-faced and drenched in back spray.
構うな走るぞ
The refugee that had fallen from Akira's back bore a single slash from the base of its neck to its waist. Leaping away from the arms grasping at him, Akira ran after the guide with all his might. A howl followed them, strong enough to reverberate in the pit of his stomach. Everywhere he looked, a labyrinth of ruins. Before him, behind him, to his right, left. He had no way of knowing how far it extended. Perhaps the darkness went on forever. Just as he began to lose his breath, pursuing voices fell away. The guide finally slowed to a more relaxed pace. Pace.
Yeah. Oh my god, these two words are almost exactly the same.
I mean, I have to speak all of this. It had been ages since Akira had run so hard. He gasped for breath as he looked around.
奴らも深追いはしない
Indeed, he could no longer feel their ravenous presence. Akira shook off his bloodied knife and returned it to the sheet at his waist. He and his guide marched in silence for some time. Felt like walking through a forbidden dimension, one leading to another world. Little by little, as the sun descended, the pale cloudy sky changed to a murky grey. As far as weather went, it was not the best of omens, but Akira had a feeling that sunny skies wouldn't suit Toshima. Along the way, Akira thought back to the encounter with the refugees. Suddenly he spoke up, narrowing his eyes at the guide ahead.
あんた一体何者だ
Emma and Gwen had sent him, which meant he had to be on their side, but even so, Akira had been studying the men as they'd cut their way through the refugees. The men had responded with the cool indifference of an exterminator, handling a swarm of ants. One could build up strength and skill. The ability to maintain one's reason in the heat of battle came only through brutal experience.
管轄は旧祖と豊島だ
Ah,
The Old Lands and Toshima. That certainly made
都
sense.
島で馬鹿げたゲームが行われてるっていうのは本当なのか
He wasn't really asking because he doubted it. If it were a lie, then Emma and Gwen would have had no reason to offer Akira a deal. He simply wanted to hear from someone who had seen Toshima with his own eyes. The guide glanced at Akira's over his shoulder, then jerked his chin forward.
行けばわかるもう目と鼻の先だ
Ooh, we're almost in
Think it's
Toshima, you.
I think this is perfect place to save the game and call it a day though.
We came not really far, not even a single answer.
To be fair, the game so interesting so far.
Yeah,
I even forgot this is the BL game.
we can actually stop when we meet at the city, when we see the city, right?
Okay,
It would be
okay.
great.
But yeah, you can.
So we see
Yeah.
Toshima. When Akira
Yeah.
followed his line of sight, he could vaguely make out the carcasses of high-rise buildings beneath a sky heavy with low-hanging clouds. Next time I let you speak, you, for these texts here.
誰かさ
Oh my god, you know how bad with am I?
I don't care, you know how much it is.
I know. Hey babe, you're the one who into this game, not me.
Yeah, I know, but like I thought there is actually a speaker voice that's saying it. We made better time. Okay. Like a mirage, Toshima rose before him. Oh. Toshima? How does it look? Like an ordinary
like-
city. Wait,
Yeah.
destroy it. This was it. Toshima. Den of criminals. Home of Igra. Where fools killed each other for a chance at glory. The taste of
Wait,
death.
let's say-
out
Like they actually accept separate to save the game and call it a day though.
Yeah, Akira would find it.
Yeah. Wait, save the game first.
Okay, where should I go now?
I don't know. You wanna end it now? I mean, it's
How
been a
much?
while.
How much time?
Well, let me see.
2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Ugh.
You didn't notice?
I mean, it's actually so. Yeah,
You didn't
Fascinating.
be doing for 2 hours.
no, it's very fascinating.
I forgot this is a BL game, by the way. I forgot this is a BL game.
And we're not even with the 25%. We're not even 25%. Shall I change to the chat then?
Yeah.
Okay, one moment. That music is actually kind of cool. Okay, one moment. Okay, now I'm changing it, and yeah.
Let me see.
Okay.
This game is something.
I mean, for me, yeah, it's a big game, but like fascinating elements are in there. It's really good. KFC.
Yeah, CFC, man.
KFC.
CFC.
The government is selling chickens.
I could tell that Winnie is also immersed. She didn't even say anything about people.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting actually. I mean, not because I was actually speaking the lines, but like.
Okay, I haven't forgot this a BL game. It was so immersed. I forgot this a BL game.
Chicken fried chicken, CFC.
Chicken fried chicken. Anyway, I will say it for you then.
Okay.
I will say it for you.
That was a very interesting
Thank
game.
you, Micah, for coming with us on
Thank you,
this
Micah,
stream.
also, yes. Thank you, Wendy Nice, for watching with us together. The BL game, sadly, no BL. Where's my BL?
BL with that guy you never fan.
Yeah.
Then you found
Is it a game?
It's a BL
yeah, it's a BL
game.
game.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay. Even though it's a BL game, I am impressed by the story building. By the way, the story building is something that I'm impressing with.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I did actually play already a lot of BL games, and I know that they have fascinating elements. This one is pretty good.
This one is good. This one is good. I like it. I really like.
I mean, for example, how also like the characters, even with Japanese voices, like speaking, it's really emotional and like, yeah, showing, for example, cold shoulders to someone. And
Fair, this game had made it to the anime too.
Yeah. Though
Yeah,
I'm
so,
not.
so that
Came the game first out or the anime first out?
I think the game. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I think the game came out
Me
first.
too. You? What about
Yeah.
you? Classic graphic art?
Yes, I
Classic.
like.
Classic. It's a 5-year-old game, so I like it. I'm
Me
not judging
too.
it at all. I really like it.
I hope next time there's BL.
I just judging the way how the police work, by the way.
Yes,
Ah.
I love the art.
Yeah.
And the
You,
sound.
remember how the police come accusing them like, yeah, because you were there, so it's you. I was like, so because I'm there, I have to be a criminal?
That was
No.
the detective.
Yeah, it was the
The
detective.
policeman just brought Akira out of the detention room or what it's called, and then like with
No, just his
slamming
home,
him.
his apartment. Yeah.
Remember what that policeman said there? Please
Yeah?
scream more for me.
That guy's a muscle sheet. What the heck?
Sadistic
There
smile.
you go. There you go. A little bit of BL for you then. That over there.
Police. Yeah, it was really good.
This game is good. But to be fair, if I gonna ask if people should play this game, I would say it's for the people who like loving immersed in the story, because this game took a. I can see it now that this game gonna took a long story.
Yeah, it will
Yeah,
take
like,
probably even more hours, probably.
Yeah, it would take even more hour.
Yeah. But
I
it's
can
very
see how.
interesting.
Yeah,
And the
Yeah,
art I
it's-
really like.
it's good. It's good. it's not the best part. It's an old game anyway, but like it's very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That-
minute shooting someone. Yeah, but it's very good.
That don't know English voices, but that is fine. Japanese gives more of a feeling there.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
thank you,
everyone.
Koichi.
And yeah, I'm also wondering how long we will take for it to finish.
Oh my god, probably a month.
I think not if I get a bad ending.
Oh,
Too.
Good night,
God.
everyone. And thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by too. Till next time.
yay.